Hey everybody, this is Nick LaRue reporting live. I've always wanted to say that. I'm over at the First Glance Film Festival, the 25th annual, here at the historic Colonial Theater. And I'm here chatting with these people. I'm from Film Snobbery. Who are you here for?
I'm here for Andrew Ginger Likes Dogs.
And who are you?
I'm Brent Roberts. I'm an actor in the film.
You're an actor in the film.
I get to play Andrew, and this is...
This is?
My name is Amber Rose McNeill. I am the director, producer, pretty much editor. Oh no, not editor, supervising editor. I did a lot.
You supervised a lot of the edit.
Yes, I supervised a lot of the edit.
Was that a lot of just, are we logging footage or just going, do it better?
Sort of. I mean, we didn't have a lot of footage. We did a very quick 3-day shoot. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, if I could do it again, I would have a lot more footage this time, but we had to be like very specific with the edit.
Sure.
I did have an editor come in and do it, but then there were a couple of things that I want to change, so I went in and re-edited the edit and then also did the coloring. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now we got to know what's this about?
Andrew Ginger Likes Dogs. How would you explain the film?
Yeah.
I always explain it as a Tinder swipe gone wrong. Just like online dating out there and with these apps, I mean, we've bumped into a few things ourselves, so I'm sure Emba in the writing of this used some personal experience and stories from people who was like, oh God, that was weird. But this gets more than weird. This gets dark.
In a world. In a world. 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 In a world. 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 In a world.
I was beginning to think this wasn't going to happen.
Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet.
And I go from playing a quite charming, fun guy to be on a date with to the last person you want to be next to in bed.
All right. I'm glad.
Yeah, that sums it up.
I'm glad that I have aged out of the whole. I'm married too, but that helps. But I've aged out of the whole Tinder thing, and I'm blessed. Yeah, no, we grew up with Match.com. It wasn't much better, believe me. So where did you kind of get the idea for this, and where'd you find this guy?
Well, I found Brent very luckily through auditions and a casting process.
No, they don't do that in indie film. They just go like you. You want to be in a movie?
No, we did a full 2-day casting process, which was nearly longer than the shoot. And Brent, I sort of got a crush on immediately, actor-director crush. Nothing weird or untoward. And was
I can't say the same.
And was like, I think he would be really, really good for this part. One, because I thought we're going to be able to work really well together, and that's really important to me in finding actors to work with, that we're going to be able to work together, we're going to be able to build trust, and that they're going to feel safe to be able to give the best performance that they can. But also, he just had this ability to be very sweet 1 minute and then just turn very creepy the next. And he's such a lovely person. It's kind of weird when you see him go creepy. But yeah, he had everything that was needed for the role. And an important thing to me was keeping the film queer. I'm queer, Brent's queer, Travis, the other actor, is queer. So it was really important for me to have queer actors playing queer roles, because we don't see that very often.
No, I mean, representation matters and across the board. So absolutely. And what attracted you to the role? Because usually these things work two ways. Like, it's always nice to get an offer for our part. That does not mean that everyone accepts. So what on your end was like, besides like, I'll take a paycheck, sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, with a lot of actors, you do commercials, you do print work, voiceover stuff, and so my commercial headshot, like you said, is charming. It's guy next door, it's pastor, it's the loving husband, and so to find a role like this, where the material is just like, oh God, that's juicy, to twist and morph into something so different than my own personality, and to try to sink into the gross shoes of a psychopath who would do this and how they would switch that dial. So like she said, the audition, it is one for the books for me, of getting to go in and just play with that audition and kick my chair out from underneath me and come at the table and like scare myself in the room. It was a fun audition. And then the setting, it was just, it was a part to die for. That's cheesy. A part to die for in a horror film.
Well, then a part to kill for, maybe.
Kill for, yes.
There you go. How long did post take from, or did you kind of
It took a long time.
Long time?
Took a long time. We filmed it in LA in mid 2018, was it? Yeah, June 2018. And it took me a really long time to find an editor that knew what I was looking for, that had the necessary skills to work with limited footage and still get like a good product at the end. So yeah, I didn't find an editor until late 2019, and then sound took a really long time because we wanted to get the sound right, because I knew the picture edit was maybe not going to be strongest. We needed to get like a really good sound mix, so that took a long time as well. So it was like 2020, mid 2020 or so, late 2020 by the time we finally had a finished film. So post took a really long time.
I was going to say, I mean, did the pandemic also affect that? Because, at some point everyone was under lockdown too, so...
Yeah, it did. I mean, mental health, other projects, all that kind of stuff. That definitely slowed the process down, but it was already a very slow process to begin with. And I thank my actors and the rest of my crew so much for being so patient with me, because I felt really bad a lot of the time for taking so long to get it out of post.
Fantastic. And now, is this the first film festival you've been to with this, or have you guys been touring around with it?
Because of the pandemic, a lot of them have been online.
Right.
Or this is the first festival that I've been able to physically attend that had a physical screening. We did have a physical screening in Oregon, I think. We haven't had that many physical screenings. There have been a handful of online.
This will be my first time seeing it on the big screen, so
Fantastic.
I'm very excited to see what it looks like there.
I mean, as a lot of festivals went virtual, this was not one of them. FirstGlance always had at the very least a hybrid model, but was able to keep the doors open, so to speak, the whole time. My question though was, with precautions, want to make sure everyone knows they're doing it right. The Film Snobbery seal of approval. No, did you folks? As you're watching it through a virtual lens, is it just doesn't have the same impact because you don't have the energy of the audience there, or it's just it played.
Yeah.
I got my laurels. I got maybe an award or something. Maybe some kind of virtual Zoom Q&A or something, but does it not really have that same kind of energy to it?
Yeah, I don't think anything is going to come close to like sitting amidst an audience when you have a film there, and it's either comedy or horror, to hear like the surround sound of comedy and laughter, or in horror to tell you are scaring people, and it's exactly what you want to get, those jump scares or those moments like ooh. So watched it, on my living room, on my computer, or sling it to the TV, but the big screen, I think, is why you make films. You want to see that quality picture, that sound, to be in pictures. So it's
gotta be in the music, the big movie pictures.
Yes.
Fantastic. I want to thank you guys for coming out to the FirstGlance Film Festival. Hopefully, they've made it a special experience for you folks being here, and you traveled all this way, and so we're glad that everyone made it okay. The little guy. Here's a Billy, the little guy.
Yeah, he flies very well, so
Fantastic.
that was the easiest bit.
But thank you guys for being here, and congrats on being here at the FirstGlance Festival and FirstGlance Film Festival, and hopefully the audience they react, they laugh, they cry, they shit their pants. Either way,
We would love that. We would love that.
then we would.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, folks. Bye.